We're now ready to begin working in the Bible. So let's switch over to the Bible. And we generally recommend beginning in Ruth. Ruth is a short, simple historical narrative. You can finish it fairly quickly, and then have your MTTs review it, prepare copies and distribute it through the community to get their opinions of it. And you can make sure that your translation project is progressing in a good direction. So we recommend Ruth, but you can start with any book that you'd like. Before we actually begin working in Ruth, the first step is to set up our audiences. In the grammar introduction sentences, audiences weren't an issue. But here in the Bible, we can define different audiences. So let's go here. In general, the translators want to produce what we call a translation for unchurched adults. So let's name this Unchurched Adults. By that I mean you'll have all the implicit information. Let's walk through the parameters. So for literal and dynamic, let's choose both. For the type of notes, let's choose all. For implicit information, all of them are checked. That's the default. Translation options, let's choose biblical. We won't convert rhetorical questions to statements, and we won't shorten the sentences. We won't preserve metonymy. These aren't actually valid yet, so we'll ignore this last page. And while we're here, let's define one more. Let's activate it, and we'll say churched adults. And for churched adults, we'll again say both. We'll say study notes. For churched adults, we won't include the implicit information except for the phrases and arguments. We do want those. Translation options, we'll again say biblical units. We won't convert to statements. We won't shorten sentences. And we won't preserve metonymy. And that's enough for now. I highly recommend that you put your audiences in the same order as we have our English audiences. And the reason for that is later you will export your texts. And when you export your text, generally you'll export just the first audience, unchurched adults. And you have an option of including the English audience. So here, if you're only exporting your first audience, and you say include English audiences, then TPTA will include the first English audience. And we set up our English project so that unchurched adults is the first one. So it's a good idea to keep your audiences in the same order as we have them in the English project. So we won't actually export something now. So we've set up our audiences, and now we're ready to import the lexical data for Ruth chapter 1, and we'll do that in the next video.